Well, hello there, my fine gardening friends. How the devil are you? Welcome to April the 24th here in beautiful Nova Scotia. Welcome to still in the greenhouse at the moment. It's a bit of a cloudy, cool day at the moment. Things still haven't warmed up here in the optimistic garden in Nova Scotia. It's often still below zero at night, and it's only really today around 6 or 7 degrees. Next week's going to go up a little bit warmer, but we've still got those cool nights and the possible frosts every night at the moment. So there's no snow in the garden now, so that's good, and I can now start to sort of get some digging done. Still concentrating on the seeds and seedlings, etc. Been away for the last couple of weeks. I was off. Where was I? I was in Ottawa for a couple of days, and then I went to London last week. In springtime in London, I'll tell you what, there is no better place in the world than springtime in London. All the Londoners are starting to come out, having a pint after work in all the beautiful different pubs, walking along the Thames. The tulips and the daffodils and all that sort of stuff are out. Blossom on the trees, absolutely beautiful it was. It was quite a shock to come back to the cold again, but it was exciting coming back because all my seedlings etc are moving on quite well. Here in the greenhouse, here in my central bed, I've got my early greens, as you can see there, still not like shot up. We've got the spinach and lettuce, and the things that have moved on the most are the rocket or arugula, as you say here in North America. So you know they're starting to be able to soon. I may be able to pick some leaves out of them, which will be good, which is nice. You know, again when things are cold outside, to be able to have things going quite well. My seedlings in here are doing well. I've moved some tomatoes in here and some pepper plants, but I'm covering them with lots of fleece every night because obviously because of frost, and as a bit of a backup plan, I've got my main tomatoes and chilies etc still inside on a big bay window, and they're doing nicely there, as you can see. So seedlings are all starting to come on. I've got broccoli outside in the cold frame. Or broccolini, that's a good one. What else have I got? What I thought I'd give you a quick little briefing on today is, well, I'm going to plant some tomatoes, going to plant some potatoes in a bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant half of them in seaweed. And those of you who've been with me for a while will know that I've done this quite a few times over the year, growing potatoes in seaweed. It's a bit of a sort of a Nova Scotia, Newfoundland sort of way of doing it, an old seaman's way of doing it. And you know, I've been down the beach. You know, this may not be of as much interest for you guys that are not by the beach, but you know, I've been down the beach and got some seaweed, and it's been there a week or so, so that's starting to smell quite nicely already. But there's a couple of different things I use seaweed for in the garden. I use it to make a nice liquid fertilizer. So what I've done, I've got a big bucket like that, as you can see, and I half filled it with seaweed. You know, and you get the seaweed from the top end of the beach where there's been a storm and it's left a load of seaweed. So you know, you don't pick out the new seaweed, you just pick out the stuff that's up the top end of the beach. So I've got filled that bucket with halfway with seaweed, and then I've topped it up with water, and then I leave it for 3 weeks to a month in there, and it starts to really pen and ink stink, as we say in South London. And but once 3 to 4 weeks in there, then I can take the liquid out and put it in some bottles, keep it to the side, and then I use it 3 parts water, 1 part fertilizer. Absolutely superb natural fertilizer there. Really good stuff. You know, all the nutrients from the seaweed have seeped in there, etc. So that's really good. I also put it in the compost, So if I've got some seaweed left over, I can put that in the compost, and you can do that all winter, and then you're getting, you know, that new green stuff in the compost all the time. So that's, you know, all the nutrients will break down into there. I also use it as a mulch on different beds. That's good. But one of the really good things I use it for is to grow potatoes in. So if you can imagine, and we're going to do this in a minute anyway, if you can imagine, you normally got you dig a trench or whatever it is for your potatoes, or if you're no dig, you just dig a hole. But you dig that trench, and then you would earth up over as the potatoes grow up. Well, using seaweed, I'm just laying a bed of seaweed down, put the potatoes on, cover them with the seaweed, and as the potatoes grow up, which they do, through the seaweed, I'll just put more seaweed on, more seaweed on, you know, and they're growing in all those lovely nutrients that are coming down from the seaweed. And one of the really good things about growing them in seaweed is that it's very difficult to lose them, because, you know, they're in that finite bed of seaweed, and then also they come out really clean and obviously ready salted as well. And people often ask me about that, you know, do you wash your seaweed, you know, once you've brought it back? You don't need to worry about that, because normally, like I said, if you've got it from the top end of the beach, it's been there from a storm, there's normally rain and all that sort of stuff gone down anyway, so you don't have to worry about washing the seaweed or anything like that. So it's good stuff. So why don't we have a little look down there where I'm just about to plant these potatoes. So I've got a couple of different types I'm going to put in here actually. So I've got these, what are these ones here? These are Norland. These are a good main crop potato. And then I've got these small red thumb fingerlings, which are your sort of new potato type ones, and I really enjoy them, so they're nice as well. So all I'm going to do is get my potatoes as I normally would, and I'm just going to place them on top of the seaweed. So I've laid a bed of seaweed down here, as you can see. Just gonna, what do I want? Normally a good hand's breadth apart. What do I want? Do I want 3 there, and I'll get 4 here. These are quite small, these are actually. And the one thing you have to watch when you're with your seaweed is you've got to make sure you keep it nice and watered, because during the summer with the heat it's gonna shrink down a bit. So you've got to make sure you keep it watered, and you make sure you keep topping it up, because obviously you don't want the potatoes that are growing to be subjected to the sunlight, because then they'll go green and become poisonous. And all I'm going to do now is give them a good covering, same as you would with soil with the seaweed. Now, in the early spring, you should get lots of rain anyway, which should keep the seaweed. Oh, smells nice, well watered. I want a good thick layer at this time of year, because obviously with the frosts etc, we'll need to make sure they're protected in this early state. Right, so there's a good covering there of seaweed. I'm going to do another layer here of these fingerlings, and then I'm going to do, for the experiment's sake, I'm going to do some ordinary potatoes dug in the trench along here. So if you give me a sec, I'll get on to that. Right, so here we go with the more traditional way. So my last bed here was fingerlings underneath the seaweed, so that's what I'm going to do. Is that right? That's Norland. Is the old fingerlings. Now this trench isn't that deep because I've just noticed, I mean, this bed is only a foot or so high, and I noticed that the soil is quite low, so I'm going to supplement it with some other soil that I brought in. You would normally sort of dig the trench a little bit deeper. So I've got my old fingerlings, just going to put them in. And you can see, obviously, with the fact that I'm putting these in the earth, that when it comes to sort of harvest time, it's always a bit more difficult, isn't it, to find all the potatoes. So there's the fingerlings, and there's always some that end up coming up again next year in whatever bed you put them in. So these are the Norland. Have one at the end. And I've got quite a few left over here, so I'm going to put these in other beds I've got around the bazaars. So first of all, I'm just going to push over where I actually dug out the trench, if I can. So obviously when I was putting the potatoes in, I was putting these little, the little stems facing upwards, because obviously that's where the plant is going to come from. Let's get some more. There we go. Make sure I've got a demarcation at the minute so I know. Right, there we go. Seaweed side, normal side. Let the competition begin and we'll see which one comes out better. Back to the greenhouse. So there we go. There's my potatoes planted. Well, some of my potatoes planted anyway. Got to find. I've got quite a few other beds around the place I can put them in anyway. So that's the potatoes done. What am I going to be doing now? I'm going to do a few more videos over the next couple of days. I'm actually going to be taking all my dahlia tubers that I've kept over the winter. I'll be taking them out of their packaging and starting to put them in different pots to get them growing, checking them out first, obviously, to make sure that they're all okay. All the summer bulbs that I've got, I'll be planting in temporary pots, just to get them going, and then when the danger of frost is gone, I'll be putting them outside. So that should be fun. Sowing seeds. What seeds am I going? I'm going to be sowing some peas outside now, and some broccoli, etc. All that sort of stuff over the next few days. Yeah, so exciting times. Got to get going, and obviously weeding outside. So the weeds are starting to come now, aren't they? So getting in there early on the weeds outside to to make sure that they don't get a chance to get a head start on me. And lots more to be doing, because I'll be going away again in a few weeks' time on another business trip. So got to get the work in between. This frantic period now between now and sort of the middle of May, third week in May, when those pesky black fly come out and makes everything a little more difficult for a few weeks before the heat of the summer comes and then the black fly go away. But yeah, lots doing. So there we go. Job's a good one.